Geno Smith, folks, is no longer a member of the Seattle Seahawks. They're cleaning house, that organization is right now. He is re-teaming with his former coach in Las Vegas. That's right. Geno Smith heading to Las Vegas for a third-round pick. He's got a year left on his deal. Maybe Seattle is possibly targeting Sam Darnold. Also, a related piece of the footnote that is out there making the rounds on social media. Again, Seattle now is looking to trade DK Metcalf. Maybe he's going to follow suit to Vegas. That'd actually be a really good fit, or somewhere else. And Tyler Lockett got cast aside after 10 years with the organization. So I know this news just broke literally minutes ago. But Rob, what are your thoughts on Geno bringing the show to Sin City?
It's interesting. I'm actually okay with it. Geno Smith's a good quarterback, career backup quarterback. I know he had some good times there in Seattle, especially that season under Dave Canales, where he was comeback player of the year, right? Kind of in that mix. He's fine. Like, he had a good couple of years. He's fine. I think this is a move. When we were talking about Matt Stafford potentially jumping over to Las Vegas, the take that I had in that spot, Brad, was, what's this accomplish? Matt Stafford is good enough with that roster that you have that I think he could get you to 9 wins, hell, maybe 10 wins. You're not winning that division. That's a damn good division, and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and the Raiders are still the Raiders. So you're a wild card team at the best. Maybe you can snag one playoff win, but let's be honest, this team's still got a couple of years of roster building before I'm ready to say Vegas is kind of back in the mix. So for me, going to get a quarterback who was going to get you 5 wins, 6 wins just by being that quarterback seemed like a bad idea. You were basically putting yourself in a position where you were going to end up picking somewhere between, 14th and 20th for a couple of years in the row. And the likelihood that you're going to find a franchise quarterback in that spot, at least drafting one, goes way down. That's real low. So I didn't really like that concept. Geno, I'm fine with, because Geno's good enough to make it competitive. He's good enough to hold that spot for you and stop the jokes about Aiden O'Connell being QB1, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think Geno Smith is stepping in and going to be responsible for 6 or 7 wins because he's a top-notch quarterback. I think he's fine. I think it's going to win you a couple more games, make you a little bit more competitive, give you an opportunity to use your draft picks this year, use your salary cap this year to maybe sign some young cats to develop over the next year or two, and then you go find that franchise quarterback as the last piece. So, I honestly, I said this, and I thought Cody Decker was going to reach through the internet and try to put me in an Undertaker chokeout when I said this the first time, because nobody wants to hear 52 days before the draft, hey, your team should go ahead and tank the year. Your team should go ahead and tank. But that's kind of where I thought this team was. But they signed the Max Crosby contract. They're clearly, obviously making moves here. I don't think Geno Smith is a guy that's going to come in and suddenly the Raiders are competing for that division. I think he's good enough to make you look competitive for a year or two, let you develop some young guys and build for maybe 2026, maybe if you find the right guy. We talked about the possibility of Shedeur Sanders being the draft pick. And for the record, maybe he still is, right? Like, maybe they decide to make Shedeur the Michael Penix Jr. to Atlanta's Kirk Cousins in Geno Smith. Maybe that's on the table. They play a similar enough style of game that I think that makes that an option. But at the end of the day, the Raiders are still 2 years away. This is a nice little stopgap, I guess. You didn't have to trade anything gigantic for him. Honestly, I'd probably rather have kept the pick between you, me, and the wall. But I think they also needed to look competitive. And on top of that, Pete Carroll wasn't going to show up and be like, yeah, I'll take a guy who's a third stringer on most teams to be my starter. Pete Carroll's not showing up to do anything but win. So I guess it's good enough for now.
Well, I will say this, and of course, I'm going to spin it forward for gaming purposes. I'm always in that fantasy football mindset. I think Geno Smith could be a top 15 quarterback next season. The Raiders are going to be playing with a lot of deficits, playing from behind, garbage time. It could come out smelling like a rose. And you look at the advanced metrics profile from his last season in Seattle, it wasn't too shabby. I mean, he was a guy that was top 7 in adjusted completion percentage of the NFL among all qualifying quarterbacks. He was also number 3 in deep ball completion percentage. He was top 10 in play action completion percentage, where he struggles inside the red zone, where he was only number 19 in red zone completion percentage. Now he's going to be teamed with Brock Bowers, who's an A-plus tight end. Jacoby Myers get the job done on one side. I think they're going to make an upgrade on the other side of that line of scrimmage, the wide receiver position. And, we'll see what they have ultimately at running back if they, stay with Sincere McCormick, Amir Abdullah, Zamir White, and what they have, or maybe they make an investment there via the draft or free agency. I like this spot for Geno Smith. I like the familiarity and the continuity that he has with Pete Carroll. So I can get him ultra cheap in fantasy next year, and I'm always down with that. So for the weight on the quarterback crowd, Geno Smith could turn a nice, tidy little profit for you there in fantasy foosball.